Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to main assembly. Today, we're going to be messing around with the new-ish suction pad part, which apparently adheres to surfaces when it is activated. So as soon as I saw that part, the first thing I thought of was something that can climb walls or climb large flat surfaces, like perhaps this thing right here. So here we can see what the suction pad looks like, and apparently this thing can be powered. And even looking into the programming here, we have something that can control the suction, but we also have something that registers when it is actually sucked onto something or attached, and we can use that to trigger other things, which might be what I need to do the way that I want to do a walker. I'm really not looking forward to the programming aspect. I have zero programming experience, so it's always a very, very slow process for me to figure out how to program things the way I want to in this game. But before we get to the programming, let's start with just the basic design of our vehicle here. I'm gonna have it be a standard easy walker. It's gonna have your typical rotating sets of legs, but each one of the legs is actually gonna have 2 suction pads that rotate around each other like this. So there's technically gonna be 8 suction pads. Now there's another new update to this game. There's an entirely new system for changing the materials and the color of your vehicle or whatever creation you decided to make. So for example, I can choose whatever colors I want in this palette here. I can change the palette. I can adjust the palette using a complete color spectrum thing here. And then I can click paint and I can just go ahead and start pointing at surfaces and painting them. And I think that that's pretty cool. And then it works kind of similarly with the materials. If I want this to be steel, then I can just go to the heavy, I click steel, and then I can just click on whatever panels I want to be steel. All right, so I'm gonna get to building the basic frame of the walker, and hopefully I'll have it set up so it can be programmed properly, and maybe we can scale this wall over here. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm suspecting it's probably gonna be very, very difficult to get the programming right, but I will try anyway, and whatever we end up with is whatever we end up with. Here we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the results of my first walking test. As you can tell, it's going great, and we have a bright future ahead of us, and I can't wait to see how this is gonna turn out. So the issue I'm having right now is apparently the motors that can rotate in circles, they are not designed to go at a constant rate at all, which makes this entire concept extremely difficult. So here's my vehicle as it stands, literally, as it's just standing right now. The suction pads have not been messed with at all so far. I just wanted to make sure that it could walk, and in making sure that it could walk, I discovered that it can't. Because even though I have these motors set to an extremely low speed or low power, this is what happens when I press walk. Now, as you can see, it kind of works. Like, it can get us somewhere other than where we started. And I even have kind of an ability to turn because I've put some servos in here so I can do some four-wheel steering left and right, but I don't think that's gonna be good enough. And what I'm realizing is because they don't have a constant torque or power, that these motors that are closer to the body, they go a lot slower than the motors that actually control the feet, because the feet have a much lighter weight to control than the other ones. So how to sync that up, I don't even know if that's gonna be possible, but I've lowered the power down to 2 from 50. And the speed is down to 1. What if I go down to 0.1? Here's 1/10 of the power. Okay, well that also okay, this might be an impossible task with the current way that things work. Okay, well, I have a second idea on how to climb things with suction cups. So since this idea isn't gonna work, I just want to go ahead and bump everything up to the absolute extreme and just watch what happens before we move on to another idea. All right, here we go. Max power motors now. Let's see how long it takes for us to completely obliterate ourselves. Whoa, 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 what? Hold on, this is way more successful suddenly. All right, one of those settings was actually really good. This was not this is absolutely not the result I was expecting. All right, let's put the speed back down to 1. Oh, nope. I think this is the exact opposite. Yeah, this is the exact opposite of what we want. Okay, we want the speed to be high and the power to be low. It's kind of confusing because both the power and the speed have power associated with it. All right, let's see if this gives us any better results. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's keep going on this track. Okay, it's still okay. Maybe I was wrong. It showed promise, but it seems like these things just spin really, really fast. You can almost see if I just like feather the throttle a little bit. You can see the intent here of what I was going for, but you can also see that these motors are they're never going to stay in sync. Yeah, there's just no way that they're going to stay in sync for the purposes of this. So I'm going to come up with a completely different way of using suction cups to climb a wall. And I hope that the suction cups can even climb those. I don't know if they can interact with the building over there. It'll be interesting to find out. So back to the drawing board we go. Okay, so now for this one, I'm actually going to start with a basic car. All right, I think this should already work. Yeah, look at that. Super easy to build a basic car. We got the motors already hooked in automatically. So here, how's this building? Okay, this looks pretty good. All right, look at that. All right, so, ooh, can we drive it? Oh, we could almost, if I make my wheels just a little bit bigger, actually, we could drive completely upside down in this thing. All right, ready? Check this out. See if this works. And come on. There we go. And look at that. Now we have an upside down driving vehicle. All right, actually, for the sake of weight, I'm going to use smaller wheels on this because we need to try to climb stuff with this thing. All right, so I'm going to do my best to try to build some type of strange mechanism on the front of this that's going to be our suction cup climby thing. Mission Impossible style. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here is the vehicle as it stands now. I haven't programmed the pistons or the suction pads yet, but I think you can get the idea. We got our pistons on the front underneath those suction pads, and what I'm gonna try to do, I don't know how this is gonna work, but I'm gonna have the two side ones go up, suction onto the wall, pull us up, and then the middle one's gonna go up, suction onto the wall, pull us up. I don't know really how to sequence things in the programming, so I might have to just control all of this manually. It would be nice if I could just press one button to go up and one button to go down, which I know that I have that capability. It's just I don't have the know-how when it comes to the programming in this game quite yet. But you can actually see already the way that the suction pads, you can see them interact with the wall. So I think that's a good sign right there. All right, so let's get into the programming and see if we can figure out what we're even doing. Okay, so I've just done a simple test program. So when I press shift, the pistons extend, and when I press space, those suction cups attach. And it kind of works. Check this out. So I can extend these up, and then when I press space, you can see the suction cups work perfectly. So I need to come up with a way to easily sequence that the middle one will go up and so on. And I don't know. I don't have any way to like turn. I could program, like there's so many programming options. You could do pretty much anything, but you really have to know what you're doing. So let's just stick with a basic. I want to climb up this tower. Okay, so I have an update. I've spent like a half hour doing some programming stuff. So here is what I've got so far, and this should technically work. There's just a design flaw with the climbing system. But I have this set up so if all I have to do is hold space and it does this, and each time one of those things reaches the top, the suction pad activates. And then once it pulls, it'll deactivate and reactivate the other suction pad in alternating motion. So this should technically climb, but we have one issue. The issue is when we climb, the weight of our vehicle pulls down on us a little bit, causing the suction pads to recede slightly from the wall, breaking contact basically. So this is what happens. So you can see it's trying. It is trying to do it. You can see each set of suction pads is gripping, but when they go up to the top, they're angled away from the wall because of the weight of our vehicle, and I don't know how to correct that in an easy way. So I'm gonna make some tweaks and see if we can find some type of solution. Okay, I've made some adjustments and I think I've solved it, and I've made it even better than before. There are still some limitations. Main limitation is I can't go backwards in this sequence, but check this out. When I hold down space, it does everything automatically. Here we go. Look at that. So the way that I fixed the issue with it coming away from the wall was all I had to do was actually move those wheels that are hugging the wall. I moved them like a fraction of a unit forward and down just a little bit, and that actually worked. So that's a way I can go down. I've actually programmed this in here so this was just about as complicated as I thought it was going to be to make a sequence, and I'm going to try my best to explain what I did here. So in my programming, I found that there is an actual sequence node that you can use. So we have an 8-step sequence. It looks like 8 is the minimum. You can do 8, 16, or 32. So I programmed when I press space, this is gonna go on, off, on, off, on, off, and that goes eventually up into the piston here. And then I have the opposite sequence to go into the suction. So the piston will extend, and then as the piston contracts, the suction will activate, and then as the piston extends, the suction will deactivate, and so on. But the issue that I found was when I press the button to activate the sequence won't stop until it runs all the way through, even if I stop pressing the button. So what I did was I ran the sequence into an AND gate that also maps back to my original button. So it's only going to actually provide input into the pistons if both the sequence and the spacebar is active. So as soon as I release spacebar, the sequence stops. Now the issue with that is as soon as the sequence stops, that meant that the suction pad would no longer hold suction, which means I would fall if I wasn't climbing. So to solve that issue, I had to run a constant into this exclusive OR gate, and that eventually goes into the suction that is providing a constant active input to the suction pad, making it always on. However, when I press spacebar, that deactivates this constant because of the exclusive OR, because it's only going to be active when either the constant or the spacebar is active. So the spacebar basically turns off the constant. But there was another issue. When I was attached to the wall, I couldn't not be attached to the wall because I would either be climbing or the suction pads would be on. So I had to run this through another exclusive OR that I actually then mapped back to S. So when I press it backwards, this actually negates and turns off everything that is going into the suction pad. So to demonstrate this, as soon as I touch the wall, that constant is going to be on. And now you can see I am just on the wall. But if I want to detach, I just press S and that turns the suction pads off. So that's pretty cool. And then you can see when I press space, it activates the sequence. And then at any point when I let go of space, it turns off the sequence and then turns on the suction pad so we can remain attached to the wall. The only thing I haven't solved yet is how to reverse the sequence. But what I can do is if I just tap S, I can kind of just slowly let go of the, well, eventually I fall. So there's that issue. But here, let's go over to this section. This is a much taller area over here. Let's see if we can climb all the way up this section. Come on, you can do it. Yep, it's working. It's working. We are climbing with suction pads. This is like Mission Impossible style stuff right here. Okay, I am unintentionally turning, and unfortunately, there's nothing I can do right now to fix that. I know that there would be a way. I'd have to remap a lot of the controls I've done. Okay, this is not going to work here. Yeah, we're stuck now. Wait, what? Oh, okay, and we're done. We're done. Okay, I've made another update. I don't have reverse yet. I don't think I can really do reverse, at least in a practical way without just completely redoing the entire programming, but somehow I've managed to add some resemblance of turning onto this thing. So check it out. Let's see if we can get going first. All right, everything's looking good. So now I'm gonna try to turn. Oh, what? Okay, I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna try to keep going again. Okay, so now I'm gonna try my best to turn to the left. Oh, no, okay, it went the other way. They went up. I mapped it wrong. All right, well, I'm gonna remap this so I can show you exactly what's going on here. So apparently I had to go A down to here, D up over to here. So I have A and D both returning negative values. So now I've added a subtraction math node in between where our input is going to the actual piston extensions. So basically when I press A or D, it is going to subtract that input from one of the pistons because I have it in mirror mode here. So basically one of the pistons will extend while the other one won't, which causes a torque. And even though you don't get that complete torque going on, just that little bit of fighting on them actually makes it turn. It's like, it's not a perfect system, but it doesn't have to work great. It just has to work. So here, let's see if we can get on here. There we go. All right, so now I think left should actually be left. There we go. So now you can see I oh, and we lost it. But I very slowly do turn. It's just a matter of, I have to make sure that my angle gets solid here. Because, oh, we're having the issue again with not being in contact with the wall. What is going on here? All right, this is looking better. All right, let's turn to the left now. Okay, this is looking good. See, look, we're actually turning. And now I'm gonna try to correct by going straight up again. So we're gonna turn to the right. You can see the torque being applied. So it actually does end up turning. The other problem, like I said, I can't go in reverse. So if we end up going in a direction that we don't want to go and there's no room to go forward anymore, we're pretty much stuck and we have to fall off. But we might actually make it up to the top this time. It seems to naturally want to tilt to the left, but now I actually have the ability, as you can see, to correct it very, very gradual. No! Aw, man. I thought we were going to make it that time. All right, let's actually try to make it to the top of this thing. But first, let's give ourselves some color so this thing doesn't look just like a stock vehicle. All right, there we go. We got the classic ScrapMan red color. Now, do you think we can actually make it up to the top of this thing? I mean, that is a long distance. I'm going to try not to do any turning that I don't absolutely need to do. And already I'm feeling a little bit shaky. All right, looks like we're going to have to start to do some turning now. There we go. Very gentle on the turning. All right, now we're straightening back out. It goes so much faster, though, when you're going straighter than when you're trying to turn. All right, please. I can see the wobbling of the suction pads, like, as they're about to grab, and I'm worried that one of these times it's just gonna not grab on. All right. I gotta start turning again. Please. Please. No! Oh, we keep getting so close. All right, I'm gonna make a slight adjustment. I hope that this works. I'm just gonna move these ever so slightly forward. It looks like this is much more in contact. We're angled a lot more into it. You can see the suction pad, like, it collides just a little bit. There's a little bit of glitching through going on. Oh, and it's causing some unintended turning. So let's try to fix that. There we go. Okay, please, please, please. It's still looking solid. If it looks like the suction pads are sliding against as you're going up, then I think that means you're pretty safe so far. All right, straighten out a little bit more. This is good. This is good. Oh, no, now I'm starting to see the wobble where they're slightly out of contact. Oh, I don't know what I just did there. I turned at a not opportune moment. All right, come on, stay in contact. Look how close we are. I just want to touch that brim. We're going to do it. We did it. We made it all the way up, whatever the air traffic control. Oh, we can actually look inside now. I don't think there's anything in there. Doesn't look like there is. All right, and our only option for going down, unfortunately, is to just disconnect ourselves like that. Oh, ooh. We had one final attempt to grab on. All right, well, our first attempt at making a walker that was gonna do this was absolutely terrible. This backup concept here actually seemed to work pretty well, and I'm pretty impressed with it. It is good for vertical walls and probably not much else at all. The walker was gonna be more of an all-terrain thing, but until we have better options to control the motors or like a servo that can go all the way around repeatedly, then I think I'm gonna leave that on the back burner. So what did you guys think of the suction pad wall climber? And if you have any other ideas that you'd like to see me try to do in main assembly, let me know down in the comments below. If you want to see other crazy main assembly videos, then you're going to want to check out this playlist right here. And also check out links in the description if you want to get yourself some ScrapMan merch or anything like that. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.